All right, so here we are into Proxmox on the new node. Installed good. I went ahead just off camera, added the description or the no subscription repo, and got everything up to date. So it's time to set up the networking and get the clustering going. But I've got a bit of a problem. My existing cluster and node is running version 8.4.17, and new is 9. And I don't know what's going to really happen if I try to cluster those two things together with major version differences. So I'm going to not do that. And I'm going to undergo upgrading my existing node to version 9. I've done a little bit of research and it looks pretty straightforward, but it can be a bit disruptive. So I'm going to go through some of that. And the first step is starting out with the checks. So Proxmox provides a little checklist program called PVE 8 to 9, and that's in the 8.4 repos. So I've updated all the way to version 8.4.17, which is what it says to do. And I'm going to run this little PVE 8 to 9 with the full flag as indicated straight from the Proxmox docs. So it's okay, look at that. And it found some stuff. So, okay, system deboot meta package install. This will cause. Interesting. Okay. So I'm going to check this out a little closely, and I will get back. Okay, so to summarize what it found, it had that systemd boot fail, which was that bad boy right there. It also found some quorum issues. So this is an older cluster that I have running that actually I use a Pi that's just a voter, and it's not actually a true member. It is just a voter to be a tiebreaker in a 3-node cluster. But I've removed a node from this cluster a while back, and that's actually what I'm adding back in today. Is this that new node used to be already in here? So I'm going to investigate that and make sure that all works good. And then it also detected I didn't have the Intel microcode enabled, or actually is that installed in the non-free firmware repo. So I'm going to check that out one by one, and if anything cool comes up, I will probably show it. Okay, so it's all kind of coming back to me now. I'm investigating this quorum thing, and I've got that Pi as a QD device, as I said earlier, and then just the main node because I removed this other node, and I bumped the nodes up, or the votes up to 3 on this node artificially to force it back into Core8 so I can continue using it. Kind of a hack workaround. It worked fine for me, but it's biting me now because I don't remember what I did here. So I'm gonna go through and bring the QD device. Looks like it's offline, so I'm gonna bring it back, get it connecting again, get it voting, and reduce the votes to the actual true number of votes, and that should get me in pretty good shape for the upgrade. Alright, narrowing it down now. It looks like since I gave this node 3, that I actually broke the CoroSync daemon on the PvE side, and that's why my Q device doesn't have any votes anymore. So to change that, I just jump into my CoroSync, and we need to give this guy just only a single vote and put him back where he belongs. Is that right? Then I'm just going to do a restart on the service there, and then I'm going to restart the Q device settings on here as well. Okay, and now let's check a PvE CM status, and hopefully I see Q device. Yes! Very good. Okay. We are back in business. That is problem number 1 fixed. Votes are where they should be. So I got it all figured out. The other things were pretty easy to knock out compared to the QD device, but I'm pretty happy that I got that done. I went ahead and added the Intel microcode package through the non-free firmware repo that I went ahead and added, and then I just removed systemd boot, so that should all be fine and good now. So now we just rerun the PVE 8 to 9 stack, and let's see what we get. Much better. Okay, no more fails, just a couple of warnings. Just looking through here, that's just 7 running guests. That's fine. I'm just going to shut them down before I update. And the cluster consists of less than 3 core provided nodes. That is all good. That doesn't matter because there are not 3 in the cluster, so who cares? I think we are ready to upgrade. It has become time. This is for all the marbles. It can get a little bit dicey in this. Hopefully it just works just fine. Worst case, all my stuff is backed up, and I'll just rebuild the node and start over and create my cluster again from scratch. I would like to try to avoid that, but hopefully it works. The first couple things we have to do is to shut all of our VMs down. So there should be a bulk shutdown option right there. So that's just going to run, shut all those down. We'll come back when that's finished. Done. Next, we need to update all the Debian base repos to Trixie. And I'm just following in the wiki, so it gives us these 2 commands. Run that. That's done. Let's go ahead and make sure that looks all good in here. Nothing is non-Trixie anymore. Now we just got to add the no subscription repo for PVE9 with this command, provided straight from Proxmox. Run that. That is done. Now we need to make sure app picks it up correctly. So that's just going to be app update. So good news and bad news, it did pick it up because 500 some odd packages can be upgraded. But I do have some issues, some duplicate lines, it looks like, in my sources files. Let's just take care of that real quick. All right, that's done. Let's rerun our app update and see if we get those errors fixed. That looks great. Okay, Proxmox also wants you to run this app policy to make sure it picks. And did pull both. Or did pull the new one. It does have Bookworm and Trixie still, so that is the next part to go ahead and remove the old Bookworm entry. I've been wandering around the different list files for the repos, and I've identified where it still has Bookworm. So all I'm going to do on that bad boy is open it in Nano, and we're just going to, for now, just comment that out. But it's the only thing here, so I mean, who really cares? So that's that. Now we're going to go ahead and run app update again, as well as app policy. Make sure everything looks totally fine. 583 can be upgraded. That looks good. Let's run app policy. Take a look, see if it still has the 2 repos in it. That looks clean. All right, good to go. It's pretty much time to just run the dist upgrade and let it rock, but I think it's prudent to check it just one more time, make sure nothing is bad on this check. I found all that stuff from the new repos. Definitely taken a while. Okay, finished. It looks pretty good. Same warnings as earlier, and a couple more with some storages that I don't have online because my NAS is not online anymore because I shut it down. Otherwise, everything looks good to go. So nothing left to do now but to do it. All right, for all the marbles, fingers crossed. App dist upgrade. Let's do it. And let's hit yes. And it's cooking. It's probably going to take a while. So I'll hit you guys either when it finishes successfully, and we'll all laugh and cry about how fun and relieved we are that this worked, or I'll be crying when it doesn't work and I'll be rebuilding the nodes. So I'll see you then. Okay, have some sort of prompt here. Configuration file as the issue, modified by you or a script installation. Let's show the difference. Okay. Yeah, now let's just, that looks fine. Let's go ahead and install the package maintainers version. With Y, there are services that need to be restarting. Restart, sure. That is all good with me. And it's cooking. 1% progress. It's gonna take a while. Alright, another prompt. Let's do the same thing. Difference. Okay. This looks largely just like it is replacing this script. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Q. And let's go ahead and run yes. It is done. I didn't see any issues or errors. That's a really good sign. So Proxmox in the wiki recommends to recheck PVE 8 to 9 again. So let's do that. PVE 8 to 9 full. Cluster file system really lost quorum. Interesting. I will check that one more time. I think that that's probably fine, just since this big upgrade happened. Yeah, well, I guess we'll see. We're not going back, but it is in read-only. So let's give that a check. Looks like the service fell off again. So let's just try to start it and see if we have quorum again. Okay, yep. That looks good. Okay, one more run of the 8 to 9. The fail is gone. All right, passed. That looks good. Last thing to do now is just reboot. Then we wait. It's up. It's back. Version 9.1.6, same as the new one. All the VMs started. Man, relieved. Relieved. Okay, that's awesome. I'm in really good shape now. Everything is running. The system has quorum. Man, things are good. Yeah, nothing left to do now but bring the new guy in. I want to get the networking configured. It's not a hard requirement before we cluster them, but I do want to just go ahead and knock it out. So the main thing to look out for as you start to look in the future and want to live migrate nodes is you want the bridges, like the numbers, to match up with each other on the other nodes. So this is my node that we just upgraded, and that's VMware 0 is the management network. That's that dedicated 1 gig NIC that I have that I separate from the 10 gig just to have me just to give me two different access control planes. But the other one is that runs the VLANs. So that's the network that the VMs actually sit on themselves. So that's just what I have to do in the new cluster, or the new node. I mean, I went ahead and plugged in that 10 gig NIC to the switch just now, so I should be able to come in here and just create Linux VLAN. That should be on NIC 2, if I'm not mistaken. It might the numbering might be a little elusive, so we'll figure that out as we come to it. But VBMR1. Now, I'm not going to give this an IP address on this network because I don't need Proxmox to be reachable on this network at all. I just want it to create VMs here. So I do want it to be VLAN aware, and I'm going to set the bridge port on NIC 2. Just like that, and comment, I will go ahead and do VLANs just the same as I did on that other node. We will do create. That looks good. Do apply config. Okay, that's the networking setup as far as it should need to be before we get started. You might notice that I have this other storage network here. That's for a kind of a local secondary network that I run. That's just peer-to-peer on the back end. That's not something that I'm going to add to the new node at all. Really, it's going to be legacy at this point, since now that I have my new thinking switch. This still says 8.4 up here. If I refresh that, it should be, yep, boom, boom. Looks great. Okay. The clustering part's actually pretty easy in the process. So on the existing cluster, it's already created, and I'm just going to join information, copy, and then on my new node that I wish to join, I'm just going to press the join cluster button and paste all that in there. The peer root password, I'm going to pull that. All right. We're going to set the cluster network to be on the same as it was on the peer. That's fine. The auto resolving would work just fine also, but we'll just do that. Press join main cluster. Let it just go. I can see the request. There it is. It's working. It's coming. Watch the task on this side. That looks good. The certificate uploaded. This guy is running. It does need a bit of a refresh. Connection error now. It did serve a new cert after you cluster it, so that's totally well and good. All right. And there it is. Fully clustered. I can see all the VMs from my second node. Nothing on this node yet. This should eventually populate. But yeah, how cool is that? 2 nodes in my cluster now. This is pretty much done now. It's the moment of truth. Let's try live migrating a VM now, and we should see it at 10-ish gigabits a second. With some overhead. So I'm expecting to encounter maybe a couple of problems. So it would be cool if I was pleasantly surprised. Okay, so let's grade this VM. Cannot migrate it with local resources. I forgot I have a GPU pass-through on that one. So let's migrate this machine. Okay, right click, migrate. Yep, that is fine. It's just a big local disk, that's all it's saying. So target storage. I did not configure the target storage on that node yet. Let's get that done. Okay. It's been a little while since I've actually messed with this cluster. It totally blanked on me to configure that. I saw local here and it was fine, I guess, but it was not fine. So we need to add this LVM thin that it comes pre-configured with. So we'll just call that local LVM to mimic the top one, volume group. See, it already has all those created. We just go ahead and add, and okay. That should show up here now. Local LVM, PVO2. Yep, local ZFS PVO1, that looks fine. The unknown is pretty normal, obviously, because that's a different node, so it's not going to be able to communicate with those because they're local. And there we go. Okay, sweet. That is configured. let's try that migration again. Migrate, PVEO2, target storage. There we go. Get actual target storage now. Looks good. And migrate. Okay. No IP address configured on local node for network. Does it have a... Interesting. Okay, that's why that keeps failing. Another legacy thing, I used to have a dedicated migration network because I used to have these two nodes plugged directly into each other to utilize their 10 gigs, but now I have that switched, so I shouldn't need to anymore. So we're going to edit this now to be, I select, they need an IP on that migration network. Man, it is all coming back to me now. Alright, well, let's go configure that then. Okay, so in VBMAR1, we need to edit this and actually give it an interface on it. I was mistaken about that. So let's do 1.100 there. Why do you need the CIDR? Okay, and then let's give it the gateway of 1.1. Alright, okay, default gateway already exists. So let's not give it a gateway then. That's fine. We'll see if that works. Apply config. Great. Now on node 2, same thing. Alright. Apply. Great. So now we go back up here and we change this guy. Yep, there it is. VLANs. Boom. That should just be fine now. So let's try it for a third time. Migrate. Looks good. Let's put it on local LVM. Migrate. Come on. Ha! There it goes. It's pretty good, but it's not quite as good as it should be. So I'm going to let this run, but then I think we should do some iPerf testing. See what kind of bandwidth we're getting over this link. Okay, so it's been a lot later and a lot of debugging and a lot of remembering what I did on this cluster way back when, like a year ago. I was having a terrible time getting this 10 gig interface to work. The migrations just weren't working. I couldn't like iPerf the test. I couldn't do speed tests. I found I had the firewall still on, and that was I had tight firewall rules on the data center level. That was blocking me. I found that I actually had it in the wrong NIC on the server machine, so all this was just compounding. And I think that it really preferred another node. At least I couldn't iPerf it correctly on the route when I had all 4 NICs in the same subnet. So what I ended up doing instead was still going with a separate machine. I did a VLAN this time instead of a bridge. Not a whole lot of difference there in terms of functionality. I was just doing different stuff. VLAN 10 is in my tagged 10 network. So this has an IP of 51 in that network, and then node 1, let me pull that up here, has a IP of 50 in that network. And they can finally see each other. So that was great. Then I had an issue with earlier I assigned the IP as a /32, and I guess in Proxmox, really in the Linux kernel, if you do a 32, then it just doesn't think that it's attached to a network. It's single host, which means that I could not get them to see each other on iPerf, even though they could ping each other, and it was driving me nuts. But it just wouldn't route it. So because it's on a different network, right, with no gateway, because it doesn't need it, because it's not being routed. But what happened is when I had a /32 in here like this, it was sending it all through the default gateway, and that traffic was getting dropped. The ping was just an anomaly because I have a unique firewall rule that allows ping through on OpenSense. So yeah, a lot of that all to say, it works pretty good now. So you can see on this guy, I have the iPerf server running. If I pull up a shell PVEO2, we do a test to its IP on the 10 gig interface. We will see 10 gigabits per second as near as makes no difference, right? So this is using regular size packets. If I enabled jumbo frames, that would be a lot quicker, a lot faster to 10. It would be a lot closer. And that's something that I will probably go back through and follow up with, but that's really the limitation on the live migration is going to be the disk now. And speaking of migrations, let's try it again. So Docker private, let's do migrate. PVEO2 looks good. Local LVM on the remote node looks good. Migrate. Come on, honey, show us that 10 gig. Oh yeah, that's cooking with gas now. Okay, it finished, and it transferred it quick. So that is really about 9.8 gigabits per second. I think actually this case, the 10 gig was the limiting factor because my storage is a lot faster in this node. So it's all NVMe, and so that moved 1.23 gigabytes a second, which is really freaking awesome. So I don't really need a whole lot faster to move between node to node. I mean, that rips. So yeah, guys, I think that concludes kind of what I wanted to get into on this section. There's still a bit of fit and polishing that I want to get into on the Proxmox side and on the Switch side kind of later on, just to make sure I didn't miss any cool features in there and I have it totally dialed. There's definitely some things on the Proxmox side that I am going to clean up with time, but that's the initial configuration. It's set up, it's working, the switch is working as intended. I've got both my Proxmox nodes hooked up over 10 gig. I've expanded my Homelab now to, look at that, 109 gigabytes of memory, 24 CPUs. Look at all that storage. That is awesome. As you guys know, the prices of everything right now, but especially RAM, are just ridiculous. So being able to reclaim some stuff that I just had laying around and expand my home lab by about double practically is really, really freaking cool. I was kind of getting up to my limits here, and I wanted to do some more with this guy. So yeah, I would say mission accomplished. I'm feeling pretty good.
All right, so that about wraps it up. Like I said, I think it was a pretty good success. I got that other node added to my cluster. I've expanded it so far that I can use it a little bit more for my future plans. My new 10 gig switch is switching. So, yeah, pretty good success. I appreciate you guys coming along for the ride. Hopefully it was somewhat entertaining, having to fight the issues that we encountered along the way, mostly around the switch, and trying to figure out what a year ago me did in a Proxmox cluster was a ton of fun. So one standing issue that I think is still in place is I believe the management IP got wiped out on the Switch when I added that, either between adding a couple of bridges that I was playing around with or in the config that I ended up using on camera. I can't get the Switch anymore through its IP address, the default one that I set. So I'm going to have to console to it, and I guess to try to get access back. So that's fun. But hey, it's all part of learning a new system, right? We're here to make mistakes. So guys, yeah, thanks so much. And yeah, have a good night.